When nothing seems to make you happy, it can feel confusing, even a little frightening. But this numbness isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's often the nervous system's way of taking a quiet break from feeling too much, naming the experience. When nothing seems to make you happy, the mind often starts searching for answers. It asks what you should change, what you should want more, what you should feel by now. But numbness doesn't respond to pressure, and it doesn't soften when it's questioned. It arrived because at some point, feeling everything became too much. So your system did something very intelligent. It turned the volume down, removing false meanings. When you feel numb, it's easy to misunderstand what's happening. You might tell yourself that you don't care anymore, that you've lost something essential, that you're becoming disconnected or distant from life. But numbness doesn't mean you've stopped caring. It means you've cared deeply for a long time. It doesn't mean you're incapable of joy. It means your system learned how to survive moments when feeling everything was overwhelming. And it doesn't mean something is broken. It means something was protected. Why numbness feels safer? For many people, numbness didn't arrive suddenly. It appeared quietly after a long season of holding things together, after feeling too much for too long, without enough space to rest. At some point, the system learns that shutting things down is safer than being overwhelmed, safer than disappointment, safer than grief, safer than hope that might fall apart again. So numbness becomes a kind of middle ground, not joy, not pain, just enough distance to keep going. And that doesn't make you weak. It means your system chose the least painful option it could find. How numbness allows life to continue. Numbness often lets you keep going. You show up. You do what needs to be done. You handle responsibilities. From the outside, nothing looks wrong. You may even seem calm, capable, steady. But inside, everything feels muted. Not heavy enough to collapse, not alive enough to feel close. Because numbness doesn't stop life. It smooths it out. It reduces the highs and softens the lows. And for a system that has been overwhelmed before, that balance can feel like safety. So this state is rarely noticed by others. And often, it isn't even noticed by you. It just feels like this is how life is now. The quiet cost of numbness. Even though numbness can feel protective, it can also be quietly lonely. Not because something is missing, but because nothing is fully touching you. Moments pass by without leaving much of an imprint. Conversations happen, but they don't quite land. You may notice that time moves, but it doesn't feel lived. There's often no sharp pain here, just a subtle distance between you and your own experience. This isn't meant to make numbness wrong. It's only meant to let it be seen. Because numbness isn't absence of feeling. It's feeling held at arm's length, changing the relationship, not the state. If numbness has been protecting you, then it doesn't need to be pushed away. It doesn't need to be analyzed, and it doesn't need to be replaced with something better. It only needs to be met without pressure. Often, numbness stays because it senses urgency, because it feels watched, questioned, judged. So instead of asking it to leave, you might simply notice it, not as a problem, not as an enemy, just as a state that arrived to keep you safe. And when numbness is no longer being challenged, it doesn't have to hold its ground so tightly. What can soften naturally? When numbness is allowed to be here, something very subtle can happen. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just quietly. The system no longer has to brace against being changed. And in that absence of pressure, small sensations may begin to return on their own, not emotions yet, not joy, just contact, the feeling of sitting in your body, the sound of a room, the weight of a moment as it passes. Nothing needs to be amplified. Nothing needs to be held onto. These small points of contact are not a sign that numbness is ending. They are simply signs that it no longer has to work so hard. Resting in awareness without instruction, there is nothing you need to practice here, nothing you need to focus on. Just the simple noticing that you are here. Breathing is happening, sound is present, life is moving, even if it feels distant. Numbness doesn't block awareness, it only quiets sensation. And awareness doesn't need sensation to exist, it's already here. Closing. If numbness has been part of your life, there's nothing you need to force yourself to feel. No deadline, no expectation. What you're experiencing makes sense in the context of what you've lived through. And the fact that you're here, listening, noticing, allowing, is already enough. You don't need to become more open. You don't need to feel more alive. Just let this moment be what it is. Numbness doesn't need to disappear for life to be here. Sometimes, being gently present is the most honest form of care there is.